We just made the 10-minute walk over from the house here to Cesar Chavez. I love that this neighborhood is so walkable. 79 walk score, bike score of 91. So you're gonna see people flying around on their bikes around here, and so many great places. We got Blue Owl Brewery, we got Juniper Restaurant, Counterculture, which is a vegan place, and of course Shed Barbershop. Let's go in and check it out. Grab those complimentary beverages, and one of my favorites they have partnered with here. What's up, dude?
Man? How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Come on back.
All right, we're here with my man, Michael Orgino, owner, and are you head barber?
You can say that, head barber.
And so I originally met you guys when you have the shop down in Bolden.
Yeah.
And I came in and started getting my hair cut, and that was, it must have been 5 years ago. And then you started only cutting hair here.
Yeah.
So I traveled to the east side to get my hair cut because this is the best spot in town. How long have you been cutting hair?
Coming up on 10 years,
Nice.
like reaching that Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours.
All right, I like it.
Yeah,
A well-read man we have here.
Hey, no, I just read the headlines, just like read the synopsis and then just like kind of go from there. I make it all up afterwards. Yeah.
So what was the transition like from cutting hair to, hey, I'm gonna open up my own shop, and why?
Transition is always, like life and whatnot. It's gonna go through ups and downs all the way around. The transition is still happening from day to day. There's always like new things. Start with like an idea to open up your own spot, and then, as it gets going, you just end up dealing with whatever's happening day to day. So it's been really, really awesome. Not looking back. Yeah.
So yeah, had you run a business before?
No. Never run a business, but me and my business partner in the shop, we had been in bands together and like toured and done the whole music thing.
Oh, okay.
And we started taking that super serious. And usually what I tell people is, if you're doing something like artistic, like let's say a musician or whatever, and you're doing something with the idea that something's going to blow up or be a thing, that's when you know that you're able to like sacrifice yourself to the idea or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve.
Well, you mean you had faith in the vision?
Faith, yes.
Yeah.
That has a lot to do with owning a business for sure.
Yeah. What do you think differentiates Shed from other shops in town?
Relative, we all cut hair, right? So it's all relatively the same, but it's the little differences that each shop has as far as like the vibe, the people that are working there, the level of expertise, that faith that we were talking about as far as like everybody that's working here as individuals to what they put into their craft and how they view it. And then for me, it was more so providing something to the community, whether it be like local hangouts, little events that we do, and like, giving back. So we do a lot of stuff with the LGBTQ community and offering like the space in our shop for like fundraisers and whatnot. And I feel like a lot of barbershops kind of like lose sight of things like that at times.
Yeah.
And that's just something that to me, I want to know who's coming in here.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the best way to learn that is to drink with them. Let's be honest. It's Austin. They just come in here to like chill on their lunch break or, even do work at times. So it's really cool. And like you said with the philosophy thing, I feel like, you and I are obviously being filmed right now, but we get super deep. Yeah. We get like really, really deep. Sometimes whenever, after you leave, it's definitely like, thinking to myself like, oh man, this is what I have to do with my life, So it's been really cool.
Yeah, and I think it's run the gamut of like philosophy, dating, and so just jamming out on whatever else is going on in life and this crazy thing that we're doing here on planet Earth for however many years we have to do it. Hopefully like 120, this came up the other day. What? Somebody's just like, well, if I live to 90, and I'm like, well, shit, by the time we get to 90, that's like 50 plus years. So technology is going to advance. Yeah. And we're going to make it to 110.
Oh, 100. Yeah. No pun intended. Yeah. Like no pun intended. But we are definitely going to do that. This is where we start getting deep. You know? My thing is what's living to people. Is living sitting in a chair or, you know, being bedridden and living to that time?
Well, yeah,
or
it's interesting you say that because the other day, somebody's like, well, as long as my body was capable, but as soon as my body goes, then just Kevorkian me.
yeah.
And I was like, wait, really? I'm almost the reverse. Like, as long as my mind is sharp, because once I lose my mind, even if my body is sharp, like, that's no way to go.
Yeah. So I like that.
I mean, but seriously, like, either one, I mean, even now when I have injuries and my mind's still sharp, but I'm dealing with a physical injury, it's like, it sucks.
100.
And like, at least I'm young enough, I'm like, all right, I can overcome this. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, I can imagine being really tough if you're like, well, I'm not 35, 34, 35 anymore. I'm 85. Like, it may not get better.
Yeah. We're not saying our age on camera, right? Like, I
No,
don't want
I was-
anybody to know. Like, we're
No, you're a mystical
24,
creature here.
25, you know, just hit 20,
Yeah.
26 in my mind, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we still have 90 years left on the planet is all they need to know.
Yeah.
How many have already transpired is unimportant.
Oh, 100. Yeah. Actually, now that you've brought that up, I think that's more so the move. The body is one thing, but it's once the mind definitely starts like going, yo, that's when, that's like one of my greatest fears is like dementia or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
just,
have
like,
you experienced
out
that
of it.
close, like
Me,
one a family
just whenever
member?
I'm super high, like really high, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this. You know
I
what
hope
I mean?
this isn't permanent.
Yeah.
I did a little too much this time. It's not good. Oh, okay,
I
I'm
still
back.
have like 45 minutes of this shit. So,
How about like a family member had dementia?
family member for sure.
Yeah.
And seeing that is just like really, really hurtful because it's, you know, that person isn't there anymore. You know what I mean? So
It's like, yeah, they're physically there, but
and then to think that the people around said person, has say over that person. Oof. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
always a tough one. We're getting deep now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wait a minute.
I'm starting to think about so all my grandparents have had dementia of some form where like they didn't know my name, you know?
Yeah.
But my aunt recently, we went to go visit her, and it was really tough seeing her in the state she's in. She's about 10 years younger than my grandfather, who also had it.
Okay.
This is my great aunt. So, but yeah, that was tough to see, and I hadn't, you know, my grandparents all passed away most recently, maybe 6-7 years ago. So it's been a while since I've been right in front of that, and to see it again close up, that was a difficult reminder. So definitely would like to get involved with Alzheimer's research and like pushing that forward because, you know, hopefully that stuff can advance quickly enough that my parents won't have to go through that, or like as a family we won't go through it, because it's really just not them going through it, it's everybody around them. It's very difficult.
Right. Yo, man, and then we see Willie Nelson, and Willie Nelson's just killing it, you know?
Yeah, like that's the other crazy part is some of these people go to, like there's the guy in East Austin that was like the oldest Vietnam, what was it, World War II vet or something?
Yeah.
And he was like, like over 100, I forget the exact
I think
age.
he was 100, 106, 108, like something like that, yeah.
Yeah, smoking
Drinking
cigarette.
whiskey, man, like every day. Whiskey, cigar. So it makes you wonder, like, how you stay in that loop and like what works for you.
Yeah.
And if you're content and you're happy, do you live to 108? What do we do as Americans? We have, like, we work really, really hard from, let's say, 18 when we graduate high school, right? So 18 on, you have till the time that you're 40 or 50. And then that point, you're like expected to retire. And then you retire, and that's usually where I feel like sometimes people start, you know, developing all these weird things.
I think that like the traditional definition of retire is an issue. Because I'll often be like, hey, I want to be retired by 40. And people are like, well, what the hell are you going to do? I'm like, well, I don't mean like I'm just going to stop doing shit and like go play Mahjong and backgammon and that shit. I mean, I'm just going to not have to work for money. I'm going to be able to do the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And focus on like maybe it's Alzheimer's research or climate change and do things that will have a bigger impact because now money's not an issue. So retiring is, in my mind, is really financial freedom, and then like what you do is different. So hopefully people can move the financial freedom date up, and then even if not, at least past 65 or whenever they actually retire, they still stay active and they're just not watching TV. I saw an interesting study talking about the amount of screen time.
Yeah.
Our generation is actually the lowest amount of screen time.
Really?
Younger than us and older than us.
Yeah.
Is more screen time. And I totally see that in people that are retired. It's like, oh, I'm just going to watch TV. It's like the easy answer.
Yeah.
They're not as social as people in their 20s, 30s, or late 20s, I should say, because I think the younger 20s are still in that high screen time demographic.
Well, you have to realize, and this is something that is probably hard for vast majority of us to like swallow. Mm-hmm. Our parents, dude, were the first people introduced to TV.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like our parents' generation. That wasn't that long ago that TV was introduced. And now we've got GoPros, we've got all this other shit and like whatever. We're the last ones to
not have an iPhone in our hand growing up.
So it's interesting. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to see like how we progress as like society and like all that.
Well, yeah, it brings up an interesting thought. Like, are we in this time period right now where there's technology hasn't advanced to enough where the screens can help prevent dementia, but they're only like facilitating it because it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to sit like a couch potato on my sofa.
Yeah.
But 20 years from now, it'll be screened activities that are actually engaging and challenging people's brains and keeping them sharp longer.
100. Yeah. That's where it gets difficult. And then now we're in the generation, we're kind of like in a prohibition kind of era with marijuana and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. People are trying to get those cleaned up or like legal everywhere and like whatnot. So kind of makes it a little interesting to where that's going to take us. We have no idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you think that the medicinal benefits you're saying?
Yeah. 100%. Because I've been like reading up on a lot of that. And when you're talking about like, I guess, Alzheimer's and whatnot, and then anybody with like epilepsy and all that stuff that are just being kind of not cured essentially, but it's definitely going, you know, into a more positive route, you know, and especially with like CBD and all that stuff.
I actually, studies are so interesting because like there's always the conflicting ones. Like one comes out that coffees a day is great for you. One says it's going to kill you. My friend posted one yesterday that even just a drink a day, an alcoholic beverage a day can increase your chance of cancer.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was thinking, do I have that beer? But like, can you pass it to me?
Oh yeah, 100.
That's not mine.
Yeah.
You see the other one?
The other one. Oh.
The
other.
What? You can't? No germs? You guys don't like?
Well, Zoe's just my favorite. The Mosaic is good too.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
I don't come every week.
Yeah.
Do you have people that come every week?
Yo, I have people on the weekly for sure.
Wow. And is it like they have a different style of hair, or like they just really want to have their hair on point always?
Very on point.
That's just it. They're like, it's worth the $70 extra a month or whatever that my haircut is always immaculate.
$70 a month? You sound like you're talking to me about any gym here that you pay monthly over there to make sure that you stay fit.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? So like, people will discount a haircut all day. However, they will go to yoga and spend like $100 a month, or go to a gym and spend over $100 a month. And they're like, well, this is helping me. So is the haircut. It's keeping you clean.
That's a good point.
It's making you look put together. It's making people want to buy whatever you're selling. All the barbers here aren't as good as me. They're a lot better, like 100%, a lot better than I am. So the thing with me and my mentality is I always just wanted to be in the room. You know what I mean? Like be in the room with the cats that are elevated, that are the shit, that are the best. Because if you're in the room with people like that, that means maybe you are one of those people, you know? Or at least that's my idea of that. So the vetting process is they roll in. If I vibe with them personally, and I see that they're, you know, willing to give as much as they do in the haircut to the person in the chair, you know, then that's when we start to vibe for sure. And then they come in, cut for like a day, 2 days. This is what we call like the guest spot. And then, yeah, if they vibe with the shop, the clientele, if they vibe with the barbers, which is huge, then we make them a part of the crew. It is like 70% customer service and how that person's gonna treat the person in the chair.
All right.
30% cutting hair.
Yeah.
Cutting hair gets better. But if you take care of people and anticipate like what the person wants and what they really, really need, that's the shit that people really, really want. That's the ooey gooey stuff.
Yeah.
The hair cutting comes later. That's legitimately how I laid it out with my career. Because I knew like whenever I started, I wasn't gonna be good. I was like, dude, I don't know how to do this. I'm just gonna wing it. I'm gonna go for it. But I knew how to take care of my homies that were in the chair and make them feel like $100. Yeah, just $100.
Yeah.
No. And
doll hairs.
After that, dude, after that, what I wanted to do to also service my homies was get really, really, really fucking good at cutting their hair. Just comes naturally.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think more than like how good the haircut is, which is a factor, but it's how they feel leaving here. And if they're like, dude, those guys took care of me, they listened, like we vibed, I think that's more important, and that's your whole philosophy.
Yes.
And how you vet people, so very cool. Talk about the lifestyle of here, because I know you ride your scooter here, you ride your bike around, right? A lot of people ride their bikes around the east side. There's just such a culture. People love the east side of Austin, and it's definitely an eclectic neighborhood. So talk a little bit more about the vibe over here.
Vibe is definitely more laid back, but with being laid back, it's more so, you know, you work really, really hard to be laid back. You know what I mean? Like 100%. Like that's like what I do every day. So I want to work as hard as I can with my homie in the chair. So at some point when he comes in, he can have like a film crew and we can just go about this like it's no big deal.
Right.
So now it's chill. It's laid back. I can cut your hair without thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the vibe of the East Side in a nutshell. It's like you have some of the best restaurants in the city on the East Side. You know, Juniper right next door to us. You know, Laundrette, Suerte.
Fuck, I love
yeah,
Suerte.
dude, Suerte is like the shit.
Oh.
Yeah, you go in there to cheese man. You know what I'm saying? Like 100%. So with that, it's that laid back kind of vibe, but everybody's getting their shit done. You know what I mean? And doing it really, 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 really well.
Yeah.
So that's the East Side in the nutshell.
Yeah, we crushed it.
Sweet. Yeah. How's this look? Does this look good?
Oh, hell yeah.
Sweet. Awesome.
Damn.
Let me get this off so I can
the
shake
best
your.
haircut I've ever had. Thanks so much, Ovi. This
Dude,
is
for
awesome.
sure.
What a great interview. Thank you for joining us this week on The American Dream on the east side of Austin.